In this session, Dan Cousins from the company My CRM Manager talks about his lengthy 18 years worth of experience with Sage CRM, how he helps customers maximize their investment in their CRM purchase, and how to support this, he has developed programs that help the success of implementation.
And he also says, I'm just laughing at the 18 years experience as a child. He walks us through some of the fundamentals of Sage CRM within the context of integrating it to the back office products in our North American marketplaces, including Sage 50 and Sage 100.
So it's over to Dan for his session on making CRM a success for Sage 50 and 100 customers.
Hi there. My name is Dan Cousins, and I'm a long-standing member of the Sage CRM community. Since 2004, so over the past 18 years, our exclusive focus has been on Sage CRM and helping companies maximize their investment in Sage CRM. Over that time, we've developed very specific systems for both onboarding and supporting our Sage CRM clients. But we've also developed some very successful relationships within the global Sage CRM community. Namely with Greatrix. If you're unfamiliar with Greatrix, they publish most of the very best Sage accounting to CRM integrations. We do tons of projects with their Sage 100 to Sage CRM integration, also referred to as the GUMU. But another company is called CRM Together out of Dublin. Their flagship product is called Accelerator. It's the advanced integration between Outlook and Sage CRM. It's awesome, and almost every one of our projects uses this. Personally, I am a project manager. My job is to keep things on track. When helping companies understand Sage CRM, I try to be as transparent as possible. The pros and cons of Sage CRM, but more significantly, what I would do if I were in their shoes. So in this video, I'm going to go through the fundamentals of Sage CRM with a specific focus on the Sage 50 integration and the Sage 100 integration. Well, you might want to jump into, show us reports and dashboards or order processing or automation. I'm going to start with the basics, because only once we have a good foundation in the basics can we take the most advantage of those other more advanced features. When we're setting up a new company, the first lesson is on navigating the system, but then we get right into profiling. Here's a couple examples. I'm profiling a company, and I can profile any which way you want. And it's not just companies, it's anything in the system. So companies, people, opportunities, deals, whatever you want. If it's profiled in a way that makes perfect sense for your company, it will be much easier for your staff to understand what's going on and therefore adapt. It will also make it easier later on to report back on data or segment the data in your system. My next point is about integration with Microsoft Outlook. And you might think, well, what does that have to do with Sage CRM? It has everything to do with adoption. The game is to systemize your staff using the system. And if it's easy to use, it's easier for them to adapt. And an awesome integration with Outlook is a difference maker. In the advanced Outlook integration, we can easily add content, add a company, add an email, look up data. I don't have to leave the Outlook interface. And that is so huge to adoption. That's why I put it in the number 2 spot. The next topic is Sage 50 or Sage 100 integration. So I'll start with Sage 50. Sage 50, the integration with CRM is a one-way read-only integration. It allows CRM users to see Sage 50 data, but you can't pass Sage CRM data to Sage 50. But it does allow users to see key statistics, buying patterns, charts and graphs, and invoice history. So here's an image of a company card where you can see these statistics. Are we up? Are we down from last year? You can also go and look up order, quote order, or invoice history, and then see the line items on those records. The Sage 50 integration is very clean and stable, but limited functionality. A full breakdown of the functionality, including short videos, can be found on the Sage 50 page of the My CRM Manager website. Whereas the Sage 100 integration is probably the best in the entire software industry. It's fully bidirectional, real time. it allows CRM users to see almost everything from Sage 100 without having a dedicated license. You'll see key statistics in a moment, buying patterns, you can look up inventory, and you can process orders. Let's start with the company summary screen. So on this screen, in the centermost, you'll notice, I've got their customer number and the database they belong to. It does support multiple databases, but you've also got some very important key statistics. Year to date, last year to date, even going back 2 years, and then the difference between. So as a salesperson, I can see, am I up or am I down with this account? I can also see how much money do they owe us, how many invoices are outstanding in a rolling 12 months. And then if I go to the top View ERP Data tab, I can drill into any of these other subcategories. For example, if I want to look up invoice history, this is what it looks like. I do all of this without consuming a Sage 100 dedicated user license. And I could also look up inventory. So if you're always pestering your accounting team, do we have this? Now I can allow non-accounting staff to look up inventory items. One of the biggest trends that I see in our practice here is in turning Sage CRM into an order processing system so that people can strictly go through Sage CRM, create quotes and orders, and then on approval from the client, pass those over to the Sage 100 sales order module. It's actually very, very slick. People can do this through Sage CRM's web accessible interface. They don't need to be connected to the local area network. And again, they don't require a dedicated Sage 100 license to do this. If you go to the Sage 100 page on the My CRM Manager website, we've got oodles of information, including short videos, breaking up the functionality into digestible chunks, although nothing's better than a personalized demo. So feel free to use the green, schedule a demo whenever you want, and then I'll go through it with you at your pace. So far we've talked about profiling data in a meaningful way that makes sense for your organization, working with Outlook, working with the accounting system. Next, I want to talk about cases or opportunities. The trick to any successful CRM initiative, Sage CRM or otherwise, is to get the system to do something. So if we can use Sage CRM to manage jobs or applications or opportunities or something, then you will have very few adoption issues. So under the context of a company, you can track anything. I'll use the expression cases, but it could be anything. It could be deals, could be complaints, could be applications. We can go here and we can create a new one or go into a pre-existing. And you'll notice that we can profile, just like we profile companies or people, we can profile whatever else we need to manage in a way that makes perfect sense for you. But you can also have any communications or documents or anything at all related to this transaction. It is, again, a smart move to have Sage CRM do something that can't be done elsewhere. So if this is where we manage our applications, then great. This is where we manage applications. We will always have a running history of every job we've done for a company or a person within the Sage CRM system, including all of those documents, all of those communications, right? So 245 under this particular example. At any time, we can look at all open cases or jobs or whatever it is. So right now for this particular team, I have 40 cases somewhere in the cycle. If I flip to a different team, I can see 16 cases somewhere in the cycle. And from here, I'll segue into level 5, workflow, dashboards, and automation. We can control how those cases or opportunities or applications or jobs get managed in a very systematic way. If we go behind the scenes in Sage CRM, we have the ability here to set up structure, and it's very, very flexible. Every company uses this differently, but the end result is that everybody's marching to the beat of the same drummer. Everything gets managed in a very systematic way. In this very specific example, and remember, everybody uses this functionality differently. you'll notice that I'm on an opportunity, but it's got sub information like quotes and orders and documents and communications. But I have these green buttons that determine what the user is allowed to do next. Again, everybody uses these differently. Don't think that you're stuck with a specific set of functionality. But also too, you'll notice that I've got an information message at the top of the page, enforcing that the user physically attach a specific document and label it properly before they can move forward. You'll notice now that that document's been attached, the rule has changed up here, the information message, and now the user can progress. We often use these features to systemize how departments interact with one another, and we tie it all together by leveraging Sage CRM's reporting and dashboarding. As soon as a user opens up Sage CRM, they generally see a dashboard that tells them exactly what they or their department are now responsible for. My last category here is marketing. I'm often asked, hey, what does Sage CRM have in the way of marketing features? Just remember, we can profile information in a way that makes perfect sense for your organization. And we can control its accuracy using those automation features. So that is huge. We've got email and document templates, a very decent MailChimp integration. We have the ability to send out automatic emails based on set conditions, and we can create campaigns and monitor the success of those campaigns. You can also connect Sage CRM to your website in a variety of different ways. Sage CRM is a great platform, and for companies looking for an integrated system that can grow with them, I don't think there's a better option. However, investing in a new system is not a quick fix. Please consider this as a long-term strategy. It has a lot more to do with changing human behavior than simply subscribing to a software. And the companies that we work with that are happiest with their systems, in love with their systems, they all take it very seriously and they're always trying to improve upon their systems. I covered an awful lot of information in the last 12 minutes. If you want to learn more, just go to the mycrmmanager.com website. It's like a resource center. Here, you'll find everything we talked about in this presentation, but broken up into small, digestible chunks. You'll also find a pricing calculator if you wanted to get an estimate on the cost of initially implementing Sage CRM. We also have a very popular quick start implementation package. And for a lot of companies, this is the most effective way for them to get started with Sage CRM. We also have a test drive package where we can set up Sage CRM, integrate it with your accounting system, all before you actually commit to any software subscriptions. So, thank you for watching the video. I'm here to help. If you have any questions at all, just let me know. Thanks for watching.
I like how Dan says, while he is the business owner of My CRM Manager, he really operates as a project manager on behalf of his customers to just keep things on track. I think his overview of the basics too, and the priority order he puts in it, Outlook, opportunities, cases, etc., really helps set the scene of the integration. Plus, driving home the story about don't interrupt the accounting staff is quite good too. I think it's an often missed conversation, and it really enables the whole complete view of the data story for the business at large.
He's talking about profiling fitted to the needs of the customers, helps users get on board with the product. And I think that his comparison of 50 versus 100 integration also helps our customers understand the value of the two propositions. I like his closing call too. And it's not just subscribing to software, it's about planning and working up a program, which is why his website resources are very valuable too.
Agreed. So it's our thanks to Dan Cousins from My CRM Manager for this session.